A large issue we face in our society today is extremists in large or small groups. These are the people that give a bad name to the groups they represent by unconventional and radical means. The point of my presentation is to ask you all whether or not you believe it's okay to judge a group based off the actions of these few, using examples and arguments for both sides of the fight. I'm trying to take the most unbiased approach possible, so I'm not going to explain my own views on the situation at this very moment. Many people believe that certain religions as a whole are flawed, and by extension, the followers of that religion. Looking at the Bible and the Quran, there are a lot of sketchy things in both of them that may cause people to question the religion. Take this one for example. Is it from the Bible or the Quran? Yeah, it's from the Bible. And if you say, you're taking it out of context, then please put it into context for me. But that's not the point. The point is, the majority of the people that follow a given religion won't follow most of what's in their holy scripture. But there are a few that take every word in the Bible or Quran, or the Book of Mormon, straight to heart, and follow through with it in their daily lives. These people are considered extremists in many cases, like the ones that try to stone gay people, or women that go outside their house without a man. But they aren't the only type of religious extremists. There are also the few that completely ignore scriptures and say, God supports me through everything. For example, take faith healing. That's where people don't seek medical aid because they believe that praying to their God will heal their child or other loved one. Take Herbert and Catherine Shively, who let not one, but 2 children die because they wanted to pray instead of seek medical aid. This variation of religious extremism is one that confuses me more than angers me. But again, not every person is like this. There are so many charities run with religious intentions, so many good people that are good out of religious beliefs, so many lives have been changed by this idea of a higher power that a lot of people don't believe that there's anything wrong with the idea of religion. Hell, without religion, the Americas we know and love today probably wouldn't exist, seeing as how we were only established on the idea of religious freedom. Not to mention the beautiful religiously inspired artwork that we've seen throughout the centuries. But does art and discovery really excuse all of the horrible things that religious extremists have done to the world? There are 2 groups I want to focus on when talking about groups and extremism: the LGBTQ community and Nazis. In no way am I comparing the 2. They are both just groups, very different groups, with very different intentions. Don't expose me. Many people have had a hard time defining what an LGBTQ extremist would be. People like to say it's anyone that tries to teach children about the situation, which is ridiculous. No opinions! Right, sorry. But the main idea of extremism in the LGBTQ community comes in with biological arguments. Many ideas that the LGBTQ community supports are ones that go against what your average biology textbook would teach you. By extension, many people believe this to be extremism, since it is the holding of extreme political or religious, in this case, I'd say political, views. But that begs a less essential question. Is a belief that goes against science extremism? Again, the LGBTQ community is a great community, and I believe they do try their best to just receive a bit of common decency. Don't expose me, please. On a completely unrelated note, but still related, don't expose me, I'm going to shift the focus onto Nazis. And I'll be honest, there's no real way to defend Nazism, and even if there was, I'm not going to play devil's advocate for that. Nazis are regarded in infamy for their extremist views towards cleansing the world by killing those whom they thought to be impure. In a gruesome turn of events, over 6 million Jewish individuals lost their lives, and millions more followed suit. It is truly one of the worst cases of extremism of a group in Earth's history. But the Nazis weren't, and in a lot of ways still aren't, the only ones being blamed for the events of the Holocaust. Even today, there are still people that dislike Germany as a whole for the actions of the Nazis. Now, is it truly okay to judge a country's population based on what happened, based on the actions of a few? Well, for that, it's important to look at the facts. The truth of the matter is that the Nazi Party won the last truly free election in 1932 at a staggering 33% of voters. So I ask again, can you blame Germany for the events that took place during the Holocaust? For the sake of time, I'm only going to focus on one movement, This particular movement is actually the reason I chose this topic. It's one that's been seen as controversial in the public's eye, and that would be Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter was started in 2012 after the George Zimmerman situation, where he was acquitted of his crime of killing 17-year-old Trayvon Martin. The movement was started to revalidate the lives of black citizens around the world, a very just cause. But in recent years, many have called it a terrorist group, based on what's been done by the more extreme members of the movement. On July 18th, 2016, 3 police officers were shot and killed, resulting in some praise from Black Lives Matter activists. This immediately led people to believe that the man responsible was a member of the movement himself, resulting in many people believing it was a terrorist organization. There have also been a lot more cop shootings in the recent years, and there's also been a fair share of black citizens dying to cops. There have been a lot of peaceful protests and a lot of not so peaceful protests. The essence of the movement is to reach out for the validation of human lives, but do the actions really exemplify that? Again, I really did try to take an unbiased approach towards this situation. My opinion may have leaked out at some points, but that was never my intention. My intention was to ask you, the viewer, to start a discussion as to what your opinion on the question is. And once again, for reference, that question is, do you believe it's justified to judge a whole based on the actions of a few? Although it was worded differently, you know what, who cares? I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and if you did, I want to hear a civilized discussion about the topic. I'm looking at you, Blake. Anyway, until next time, I have been Leppy Studios. Somebody